So hello everyone and welcome to our first Ladies of Classical Crossover Magazine chat. I'm really excited to have the singers with us here today. So we have Chantelle Constable, we have Joanna Forest,
Hey!
and we have Natasha Hardy.
Hi.
Hi guys, how you all doing?
Yeah,
Good, thank you.
What's the weather like by you guys? Are you able to get some sun today? Are you inside?
It's sunny today. It's sunny in Essex.
It's sunny in London as well. It was cloudy earlier, but now it's really nice.
Yeah, it was a bit windy to start with, but now it's super good. Yeah, we've been really lucky. We've had some really nice weather during our lockdown, which has really helped, I think.
We're starting to enter thunderstorm season in Kansas, which means like every 5 minutes the weather is different. Like it's been nice, it's been in the upper 70s, but like you'll have rain in the morning and like blasting sunshine in the afternoon and then thunder in the evening, and then it's just a constant. It's Kansas. The skies are not cloudy all day, so.
Wow.
Definitely dress in layers there, right?
Yeah.
So what I figured I'd do, if that's okay, ladies, is I do have some questions for you here. So I'll ask each of you a couple questions, and then feel free to jump in if you guys want to ask each other anything. I think Joanna and Natasha, you guys have met before, right?
Yeah.
We have, yay! We did a lovely concert together last year, wasn't it? Gosh, how the time has flown. Gosh, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but actually it was last October.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we did a fundraiser together, didn't we, in Wales?
Yeah, it was for Callan FM, and Janny Rawlinson, she was hosting it, and it was a really lovely evening. And I had actually seen Joanna perform previously at another concert, but I was too shy to go and speak to her. So it was really nice. It was really nice to be on the same bill with her, and
we had such a lovely time. We were literally like chat. Yeah. When lockdown is over, we are going to go for coffee and talk all things singing and music, and our little doggies can meet as well, because we both have similar dogs.
Yes. I've got a little poodle. She's here. She's called Pippa, and I think what's yours called, Joanna?
Evie.
That's it, Evie. So they're gonna be best buddies.
They're gonna love each other. They're literally gonna love each other. Evie's a poodle mix, so her dad was a poodle. So
okay. Oh, Pippa will love her then. She loves poodles.
All three of you have dogs. I'm a cat girl.
Are you a cat girl? Oh, okay.
I'm allergic to cats. That's the only reason I can't have cats. I really love them.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah, they're beautiful, and I love it when they're just so sweet, and then all of a sudden they just whack you or something.
Scratch you.
Yeah, like, oh, I love you too.
I have a cat who will, like, she literally loves you by biting you. Like she just I love you so much.
What's her name?
Her name is Esther, spelled Esestyr.
Love it.
It's great because we all have these animals that are kind of keeping us sane during this lockdown, right?
Oh, definitely. It really makes a difference. It's given me a focus, because Evie needs a couple of walks every day, and just sort of like looking after her. It just, animals in lockdown, absolute lifesaver, definitely.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the only thing that I really miss when we're taking Pippa for a walk is when she goes to the park, she can't really socialize with her friends. They have to still social distance, and they don't understand. They're like, why? I want to see my friend.
Yeah, they don't understand. They don't know what's going on, but it's quite nice that they don't know what's going on as well, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly.
Do you ladies have gardens?
Yeah, I've got a garden. It's only a small one. I mean, real estate in London is pretty hard to come by.
Yeah.
But it's a nice little garden, and actually have some really lovely. I've got about 3 or 4 peony bushes, which are all starting to sprout at the moment. So they're really, really beautiful. But I'm really blessed and very lucky that I've got a garden. It's a real lifesaver when you have to, be at home all the time. Great, Joanna.
Yeah, we've got a little garden, which is it's just been lovely to sit out, and then you feel like you're getting fresh air and everything. I can't imagine not having some outside space.
Yeah, I really feel for everyone that hasn't got a little outside space that they can go to. So when they relax the rules a little bit, I thought it was makes life so much easier for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
I live in an apartment, so I've just got a little bit of patio space, but I've got my little window boxes, and I've got herbs, and I've got strawberries, and I have geraniums. So I've got my tiny little boxes on my front patio. They make me happy.
How would you guys each describe your sound? Because I think one of the cool things about crossover is that there's so many different influences that even though we sing a lot of the same repertoire, can be totally different. So why don't we do Joanna, Natasha, Chantelle, and you just give us an idea like what listeners could expect from your sound?
That's such a good question. Yeah, I totally agree with you that classical crossover, there are so many artists who have been influenced by so many different things, and then they sort of cross over all different kinds of genres. I feel like I wanted, with my first album, Stars Are Rising, to make an album that everybody would like, even though it had a classical feel to it. So taking a song that definitely didn't start off in the classical genre, like David Bowie's Life on Mars or Slade's How Does It Feel, and then just doing a big orchestral classical version of it. Because I think lots of people like classical music, even if they don't realize they like classical music. They might have heard it, the background soundtrack to a film they really love, or they might be playing like a computer game and it's got a beautiful soundtrack. But if you say to them, do you like classical music? They might go, oh no, it's not really my thing. But actually it sort of might be their thing. But I think sometimes there's a perception of it as being very sort of like closed off and elitist, and people going, oh no, I don't think I'd enjoy that, or I don't know much about that, so I can't enjoy it, which is absolutely ridiculous, because it's for everybody. So I wanted to make an album and open it up that, hopefully it would appeal to lots of different types of people with lots of different music influences and interests. And I love the fact it has got a big sort of cinematic feel to it. I really like that. I think the orchestration is really exciting. And then with my second album, I wanted to sort of open it up even more to like the whole family and younger ears. So we chose, well-known songs that would appeal to the whole family. And I sort of envisaged maybe people listening to it on a long car journey, or maybe sort of chilling in the afternoon, put the album on, or maybe, at night when you're saying goodnight to your child, put When You Wish Upon a Star on, help them sleep, to be used at all different times of the day. And that was where the concept for A Day in the Life of a Child came from. And all the different hours of the day having a song that correlates with it. But again, done with a full orchestra to sort of introduce younger ears to orchestral music and classical music. And what I think is really sad is some children don't even get the opportunity to hear that type of music, let alone be able to play an instrument or have the opportunity to have music really as part of their life. I don't know what it's like in America, but over here, funding's really been cut a lot for music lessons, which I just think is a real shame. And who knows what the future of the industry is going to be like if it's not available. Like music and music learning should be available to every single child if they want it, and not just, you know, super gifted ones. It can help anybody to learn music, and it's good for well-being and calmness, can help learn in other ways. Do you think generally being creative is a really sort of healthy thing for everybody, isn't it? So I would say I really like the big sound of a full orchestra. I think that's really, really exciting. However, that's not to say that I would do something maybe a little bit more sort of like cut back, stripped back. Thinking about could be quite a nice idea. But the other thing I love about classical crossover, it can sort of mean something different to everybody you ask. Like, it probably means something different to both of you, and how you sort of translate it depending on your influences and the music that you're into.
Definitely, I totally agree. I think classical crossover is such a huge genre now. And I think a lot of people are listening to classical crossover and they don't even realize.
Yes.
How would you describe your sound, Natasha?
Whenever someone asks me that, I always kind of pause, because I think it took me a while to find my own voice. I studied classically for a long time, and then I realized that I actually wanted to bring a lot more of a contemporary sound to what I wanted to do. And I've been singing a lot of other people's songs for so many years that I decided that if I was going to start, recording, that I should really record with the songs that I've written that are kind of influenced by my journey, my life's journey, the loves that I've lost and gained along the way, and everything that kind of comes from falling in love. And so I wanted to just not be constrained by the classical sound. I remember going to a lot of lessons or a lot of workshops where I was told, you're not doing this and you're not doing that, and you should be singing like this, and you can't pause here, and you can't breathe here. And I really wanted to have the freedom to just sing how I wanted, and I thought that would be best expressed through my own music. And so I would say it really is a crossover of a classical and a contemporary kind of pop sound, and it just results in what is really uniquely my voice. With regard to the sound that I create, I always think of my influences, which, as I was growing up, I used to listen to a lot of Enya, which I would say that she falls under kind of the crossover stroke world umbrella genre. And I've always really been interested in cinematic soundscapes. I really love Hans Zimmer and Gabriel Gerard. They're kind of my favorite composers. And so I wanted to work with a producer that would be able to kind of mix this up for me. And the result was my debut album, Lost in Love, which I released last year. And I think I will just carry on building on what I've created. I'm really excited. I feel like I've finally found my voice, and it is interesting that it does definitely fit into this classical crossover umbrella genre. But like me and Joanna, we're like so different, but we're in exactly the same genre, and that is, for me, it's so exciting, that we can really be with other artists that have got our own unique way and our own unique style of being able to put our spin on things. Like I heard Joanna's David Bowie cover, and it's beautiful. It really is. And if you haven't heard it, please go and look it up, because it's a really lovely song. And and I think this is what's so amazing about this genre, but also the fact that now people are a lot more open-minded to being able to mix this this classical style with a much more contemporary sound, and I think it suits me perfectly.
Absolutely. When we did the fundraiser together, I just love the fact that you had like the ensemble of musicians who came with you, and you had created that. That was like amazing. It was really, really, really special. And it is lovely that we, like you say, so different yet under the same umbrella. So there's so much for people to discover in this genre, isn't there?
Definitely. And I think, as I was saying earlier, when before I joined the classical crossover team, Chantelle actually wrote one of my first reviews for my Lost in Love album in Classical Crossover magazine, and it was a very nerve-wracking time for me. And when I read Chantelle's review, it kind of blew me away that someone could write such beautiful things about my creation. And it kind of made me feel, so thank you, Chantelle, it made me feel really confident that I was on the right path and that I was on my path. And I think that's one of the things that we're all trying to do with our voice and our gift, because we've all got a gift and we're all just trying to share it in a different way. So I'm so excited now to be on the Classical Crossover Magazine team and kind of be alongside my contemporaries in this, you know, wonderful way that we can share this amazing genre.
Actually, right before this, I was so stressed because I couldn't figure out how to record this thing. And I was listening, hopefully it records. I was listening to Enter the Gate to kind of give me some send.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad. Actually, what I find is music is such a healing tool. And I think in this lockdown, I mean, we've just seen literally every single person in the world feels like to me that they're singing at the moment, you know, and it's the go-to thing that we want to do with expressing our voice. And I think, you know, healing, helping, just like Joanna Forest's album, if you haven't heard it, by the way, please listen to it. If you're a kid or an adult, you will actually love the album. And you know, even like Let's Go Fly a Kite, it actually makes you want to go outside, get a kite, and, you know, join in the fun. And I think that's the one thing about music, it's important to find what you want to do within your creation, you know. And I think as an artist, we all have that ability, and I do believe that even say like a composer like Puccini, he's actually one of my favorite composers, and you can see he, in every single line, he's kind of given a little bit of freedom to make it longer, shorter, you know. And so that this style has been developing for a long time.
I am blinded by your beauty, but I can see the light. I'm hanging on a tightrope, baby. I am 50 miles high. Help me, I am falling down. Don't want to hit the ground. Want to stay above the waterline. I am drowning out the sound. I only want to be here now. Come in closer, pull me in against the tide, 'cause I'm in heaven. Shadows of a bittersweet kiss lingers on my mind. Fought my way out of the darkness, leaving her behind. Help me, I am falling down. Don't want to hit the ground. Want to stay above the waterline. I am drowning out the sound. I only want to be here now. Come in closer, pull me in against the tide, 'cause I'm in heaven. I am blinded by your beauty, but I can see the light.
Chantelle, I know you've done quite a few different projects and different kinds of sounds, so can you even pick one sound to tell us that you're kind of focusing on right now?
Well, since I went last, I've had plenty of time to think about it.
Okay.
I am kind of the dark sheep out of the group. I think I don't fit neatly in classical crossover because I've done rock and roll, I've done strict musical theater, but my take on classical crossover is coming from a more rootsy Americana place. I know you and I, Tosh, growing up American, and I'm sure Joanna and Natasha did too, grew up with the classic musicals with Judy Garland and Frank Sinatra and Deanna Durbin and all these great artists and singers. But like that was really a part of my childhood. I was really in love with the great baritone Howard Keel as a child, and Seven Brides for Seven Brothers with Jane Powell, and those big voices that weren't just musical theater belty, they were actually like legit voices. And so that was a big part of my childhood, was kind of that classic musical theater, musical. And then as I got older, I started kind of branching out into either direction of that, and I discovered old vaudeville, Tin Pan Alley songs, which led to my Songs of 1916, and someday, hopefully future 17, 18, 19, etc. albums. And these really obscure, really gems of songs that coming out of the 19th century still use a somewhat legit voice. Also for myself, being a 7th generation Swedish American and possibly a like umpteenth generation Scottish American. My roots come from the United Kingdom, from Ireland, from Germany, from Sweden, and I have always been into my family genealogy and family roots and learning the traditions of those countries that I come from. And so learning Swedish folk music, learning Old English, the child ballads. And that leads me, I enjoy singing those songs, but as well, that encourages me to write my own songs as my own modern folklore of Chantelle's life in the year 2020. And as far as the classical element goes, as a child, I was this chirpy soprano, and I just naturally fell into choir and classical voice lessons, and that's the sound my voice takes. I'm not a belter, I'm not an alto, I am a lyric soprano. So there's this element of singing folk music, and not the blues, I'm not so bluesy, but like this very deep roots folk music, while incorporating the natural sound of my voice to be a more classical soprano. And writing my own music allows me to blend those two into something that is a literal classical crossover. I don't know. That's my thing.
Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day.
Joanna, have you done any songwriting also, or?
I would love to create an album of songs that I've written. I think that's really exciting. I would say that's an ambition. Working on it. Watch this space. I think it is. I think it is really special to create not only your take on an existing song, but create a song. I think it's lovely. I love listening to, when you're listening to a song and you really feel like that artist is speaking to you from the soul. And I think that's what makes maybe someone like Adele so successful, that she's literally telling you exactly how she's feeling. And I think people can relate to that and go, oh, I felt like that before, and someone understands. So I think it's definitely something that I would love to do. Yeah, I think that's really exciting and super creative.
Joanna, if you ever want to write, let me know. Come in the studio with me and Stefano, my arranger, and I think it would be amazing. We could do something really special.
How exciting! Yes, that sounds brilliant. I can't wait for lockdown to be over and just
me neither.
Get on with it with exciting things.
It's so awesome, the new music that is being created, and it's so needed in this genre where things can get a little stale if we don't have that. And yet at the same time, it's like interpreting songs that I've already done, like Joanna does so brilliantly. Like something like In My Life, when she did that, and it was quite different from the original, right? But I think like the thing about a great song is, even though it's been done a million times, it still has new life. You just have to find it. So I think it's just those both sides of the coin, which I love today. We have the original, and then we also just have the important interpretation of all this classic material also. Go ahead.
I think that's an important point to make in the connection between the Great American Songbook and classical crossover, because we have the Great American Songbook and all of your singers, Frank and Judy and Ella and Bing and Billy and Tony, and they all did these songs and we all love them equally, you know, because they're great songs and each unique, wonderful singer can put their original stamp on them. And it's the same in classical crossover. We have a repertoire of we have an excellent musical catalog, and hearing your favorite voice singing your favorite song just can't be beat.
No, definitely. I completely agree. I mean, my mum used to, when we were kids, just used to spoon feed us Doris Day literally every single day. So I think I know literally all of the lyrics to every single song that she ever sang. But one of my favorite albums of hers is actually, it's just her singing and Andre Previn playing piano, and she literally just sings them. You know, I think there's about 16 or 17 standards that she sings, and every single one of them is just her own, and that's just such a beautiful thing that we as singers are able to do. We can really make it our own.
Absolutely. Putting your own stamp on a song is it's a great feeling when you really feel like, yes, like, especially it's obviously a song that you love because that's why you've chosen to try and reimagine it. And when you feel like you really have done something different with it that is you, then that's like a really good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like when we did the classical crossover concert a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I'm not really an Irish singer, kind of. My voice is a little bit big, but I thought I would try Danny Boy, and that's why we had to have the key change in it to make it a little bit broader for me. But it was enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I would be singing lots of kind of Irish songs in the future, but it was interesting. And the thing is, if you don't try new songs, you don't always know what is good for you, and some are mistakes and some you learn from, and some you find that it's like a rock song. I mean, I'm actually quite good at singing rock songs, and I never knew that. Everyone used to always say sing a rock song. I'm like, no, but I sang a rock song, and I'm like, oh, this is another career in another life. But this is the amazing thing about the voice, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you don't try singing lots of different things, then you're right. You won't know what's going to feel really right. And then you can discover new songs, new styles. Yeah. I always love just singing along to anything. I'm sure you guys are the same, just to see.
So if you like Doris Day singing with Andre Previn, you must check out Leontine Price's jazz album, Singing with Andre Previn.
Oh,
because
I'll make a note
of Leontine Price singing Right as the Rain with Andre Previn on the piano. Oh, it's heaven. Oh, it's beautiful. Leontine Price singing jazz. You can't get better than that.
Wow.
So I just want to go quickly, Joanna, you've been writing a fantastic column for us.
I am absolutely loving it.
So have you done writing before, or?
No, not really. but I'm really, really enjoying. I think it's because it's my favorite subject, music, and however, whatever form it takes, the column, I can just write about stuff that I know. And they always say, don't they, write about stuff that you know. And I feel like that's given me the confidence to just sort of just write that, like however I want to. And I'm just really enjoying trying something new. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. It's been so much fun to think, oh, what am I going to write about next? And yeah. I'm so happy to be part of your amazing magazine, because we're so lucky that you've created this magazine for the genre. It's just brilliant. So it's literally my favorite magazine, of course. And now that I'm writing the column, it's just brilliant.
Oh, thank you. No, I mean, I started this because there were so many of you guys I wanted to support. And at the time I was a teenager and I was trying to do fan sites, and I was like, this is I have homework. So that's what it started from. But one of the cool things about your column is that like we're learning new facts about you. And I did mention the story with your husband. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind like kind of sharing that, because I thought it was awesome how he kind of helped you really find, you know, your path. You were already on the journey, but he just kind of gave you the right thought process to think about where you wanted to head out.
Yeah, it's amazing how somebody can sort of steer you on the path. Sometimes you think you're on the right path, you're on a path, but it's not maybe 100% right. So I always knew that my path was performing, singing in some way, which is and that was sort of definitely going to the Italia Conti Academy as a child instead of normal schooling. So you do half the day singing, acting, dancing, and you only do the other half of the day doing all the normal subjects that prepare you for your GCSEs. So I think I feel super lucky to have gone to that school, but it definitely makes you feel that that's the only path in life, definitely. And you're being primed for that from, you know, from such a young age, from 11. And then you get little tasters of what it could be like if it was your job, because there was an agency attached. You got to do things like commercials and, you know, West End shows, like, and you're like a child, but you're getting like paid to do something really, really, really fun. Like my first job was at the Dominion Theatre in London's West End, which is like a huge theatre, and it was Bernadette the musical. And, you know, every day after school, the guys that were involved in it, we would get the tube to the theatre and just be like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And it really was. And, you know, we got to do things like the Royal Variety performance and all sorts of things. So you've sort of started your CV already as a child. And then carried on to do the sort of student course, they call it, after you've done your GCSEs. And then I was doing various like different jobs, and it's sort of every job is a win in the industry, because it is so difficult to get a job and auditioning and that type of thing. But it was my husband who really said to me, like, what do you really want to do? Because when you are, you know, you've got an agent and they send you for auditions, you're definitely not in charge of your own destiny at all. There are so many different factors that are going to like determine your life. It can make you feel a little bit out of control, because you don't have any control. You're just waiting for the next phone call or the next opportunity to arise. Then are you going to be right for that opportunity? And you can work really hard, and are you going to get it? Or you can do a job thinking it's going to lead to something else, and like it doesn't. And so my husband said, what do you really want to do? And I said I really wanted to sing as myself, because he sort of said to me, would you rather sort of, you know, have a main part in a West End show like Christine and Phantom of the Opera, or sing as yourself? And I wanted to sing as myself, and I realized, oh my gosh, that's my path. But then how do you even begin to go down that path when you realize that you want to change direction and you want to focus? And sometimes it just really helps to have somebody who's like, yes, you can do this is what you should be doing. And I definitely feel like this is what I should be doing. This is definitely I think it was definitely right to focus as me. And you know, sometimes when I'm, you know, the times when I've got to say to a proms concert and I'm singing with an orchestra behind me, I'm like, yes, this is definitely more enjoyable than any of the other things that I've done leading up to that. It's still, I'm sure, like you guys feel as well, there's no written rules. There's, you know, what it's, you sort of have to go with your instinct. It's not like being a lawyer where, you know, if you do this and this, then you get this job, or a doctor, you do this and this, then you get to do this. You have to make up your own rules and constantly keep creating and thinking what should I be doing next, and but it's definitely a lot more exciting, and you're in control, and you know that everything that you do, you're doing because you want to, and you have the final say as well, which I think is actually one of the amazing things about being an independent artist. I think obviously it'd be amazing, to have, like, I always think of them as the magic people. I don't know if you feel like this, the magic people who know how to totally get you out there in front of like the world, and your music in front of the world. You don't have those. You are those people, of course, but then you get to have complete say. You're never forced into anything. You never got to please anybody but yourself, and do everything that you want to do. But yeah, I'm definitely grateful to James for giving me the confidence to focus and to go down the path, and really to go for your ultimate dream, really, because you don't want to look back and think, what if, do you really? And think, oh, supposing I should have tried that. And so I think sometimes a leap of faith can absolutely massively pay off. That's what I'd say to anybody watching this. A leap of faith can pay off, definitely.
So guys, go read the column. It's The Rhythm of Her Life. It's my life, but I always say her life because it's you.
I never dreamed that when I started to go down this path, like that would happen. So you never know what can happen, and what you can achieve. And yeah, I'm really enjoying like putting little bits in the column that people might not know about me. And it's such a good way to reach out to sort of fellow music lovers, which is really exciting, because that they hopefully will be interested. If they're reading the magazine, they're going to be fans of music and the genre. So hopefully they'll be interested. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving being part of the team. Yeah.
I was so happy that guys both enjoyed. And I'm not enjoyed, joined. But speaking of taking a leap of faith, Natasha, so most of what I know from you is from your album, Lost in Love. So I was like doing a search on you last night, just like trying to find out more stuff before this album. So you actually started as an actress, is that right?
That's correct, yes. So my whole goal in life was to be an actress. I thought that's what I wanted to do. And it comes very, very naturally to me to become another person and to inhabit a different character. And it goes back to actually what Joanna was saying, the magic people that are out there that you're hoping will find you, they don't really exist. And it's a hard slog in a career where you are putting your career in other people's hands. And so I found it very difficult going for auditions and then being turned down and sending out, this was before the internet, so it was really hard. You had to pay a lot of money to send out 10x8 photographs, and to come, I didn't always live in London, so traveling up to London was very, very expensive. And so eventually I bit the bullet, and I thought, well, I just have to be in London to actually be able to be there at the drop of a hat, to be able to go for these casting calls and everything. And I was reading the famous Stage magazine, and I saw an advert in there for Actress That Can Sing. And then I kept coming across all of these adverts, Actress That Can Sing, Actress That Can Sing. So I thought, I better start learning to sing, because you have to be more multi-talented. And it kind of was the beginning of the story of me becoming a singer, is because I went to my first music lesson with a trained soprano. She's actually American. I've been taught by an American teacher, and she was making me do all these scales, and I was going higher and higher and higher, and she was like, oh yeah, you're a soprano. And I actually didn't even know what that was. I came into singing really late. I was in my early 20s, and it opened this whole new world for me. And I was just starstruck with how your body can just be taken over when you're singing. And it was what I've always wanted when I was acting, is that this, literally my body, my mind, my breath, my emotion, just it literally kind of got so involved in the singing process that I realized that was what it would be my true calling. It's taken me a long time to get to this point, because training is really hard. And unless you've, like Joanna, gone to school from a young age where you're taught every single day and it's part of your life, it's a lot harder when you're older. But that's never deterred me, and if anything, it's always made me feel like I can think a little bit outside of the box. I'm not always constrained to what everyone is telling me. So yeah, I did want to be an actress, but I do think that acting and singing go hand in hand. I mean, you can't really ever sing a song without being an actress, if I'm totally honest, because you still have to know about that character. You have to do all of your research of why they're singing that piece, that part, and so for me it kind of is the best of both worlds. And as you know, I produce my own music videos, and so that is one of the best bits for me, is that I actually get to be on camera acting and singing and producing and doing all of those things. But yeah, singing was just a feather to my bow, and it actually ended up becoming the thing. So
wow, can I just say, Natasha, I totally relate to that, because I wanted to go to Italia Conti because I wanted to be an actress.
right.
And so I didn't know if I could sing until I started to have singing lessons when I was there. So when I did my audition and I had to sing as part of it, I didn't know how that was going to work out for me.
Yeah.
And it was while I was there that I realized that I loved singing and that I could sing. But I totally get how that feeling of not being in control of your own destiny massively. And I think that's really interesting that we both felt that, and then both went on our own paths.
Yeah,
with the singing.
that's amazing.
That comment.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah, no, it's a really important thing to feel more in control. And I think for us women especially, we don't want to be waiting for a phone call. We don't want to be waiting for someone to be able to say, okay, I will let you, I give you permission. I think one of the biggest things for me to learn was to give myself permission and just say, yes, you are allowed to do this. And I think it's one of the biggest life lessons I have learned through this whole process of saying, well, I am an artist and this is what I do, and really feeling okay with that and feeling centered and allowing yourself that. And through that I know that I've inspired others, and for me that is just the ultimate thanks, that my kind of choices in life have actually gone on to help other people, saying, well, whether it's a healing song that someone's heard that's helped them through something, or if someone's just looked at my life story and said, well, if she can do it, I can do it too. I mean, that's the ultimate, isn't it, being able to pay it forward.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right, because it's amazing to know that you've created something that somebody has really gotten a lot from. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's such a nice feeling. You think, wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
I think it's really important that just us being able to have this discussion for other people to know that, you know, it's quite easy for us to want to keep things for ourselves, but that's not what music is for. It's to be heard. It's a visceral thing, isn't it? It's for the listener to have and for them to embody it. And then it's like watching it's like looking at a painting. They can get out of it what they need, and it's different for each person that hears it.
One of my favorite quotes is from Goethe, and it says, "For a person remains of consequence, not so far as he leaves something behind him, but so far as he acts and enjoys and rouses others to action and enjoyment."
I love that.
Nice.
Right? Brilliant. Like there's an element of creating for yourself and expressing your own voice, and there's an element of inspiring other people. And I think that's a hard line to walk. That's a really hard line for me to walk, because of course as a songwriter I want other people to like my music, right? But at the same time, as a songwriter, I want to say what I want to say. And I think by living authentically and creating honest work, we can thereby empower other people to act and enjoy. So that's my 2 cents on that.
I love that.
Chantelle, speaking of songwriting and all that, tell us a little bit about your process, because I know you do a lot of original music, so I'm interested to hear how you come about your songs and inspiration for them.
As far as my personal writing process goes, I am very much a non-tortured artist. And by that I mean, I try to be very honest and upfront. I have clinical depression and anxiety, and that's something I deal with every day. And I try to be very honest with that in my songwriting. At the same time, I find it very difficult to create when I am in a negative space. I write best when I am happy. When I'm happy, I can write happy songs, I can write sad songs, I can write angry, folksy murder ballads, which is kind of my favorite thing, by the way. Like, anyway. I will admit, my writing process is very, I'm going to make up a word here, fluctuative.
I feel like that's a word, fluctuative. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's a word. I would say
that's a word. Yeah.
Okay, we're good. That's a word.
Oxford Dictionary, you're getting a call.
I have kind of an alt singer-songwriter personality that is a man named Austin Dean. And he kind of is objective and comes from this totally different personality. I will write a song as if I am Mrs. De Winter in Rebecca from Daphne du Maurier. I will write a song as if I'm Jane Eyre. I will write a song as if I am Elizabeth Bennet. Like, what do these characters feel? What do they experience? And
so very like storyteller.
That's kind of my approach. Storyteller. Yeah. I'll stop there.
It's very fascinating. I'm not sure, Natasha, if you have a similar process.
I think it's similar to Chantelle. I just have to get into a space mentally, and I found that the way that I work best is if I actually do it like, right, I'm going to work now. And so I sit at my desk and I close the blinds and the curtains and I put a candle on my desk and I literally think about what it is I'm writing about. First of all, I usually find a scenario of what happened. So if it's me, or if it's a fantastical scenario, I put myself in that scenario, and then what happens to that girl? What happens to her? How does she feel? And usually the words that come out, it's literally kind of poetry that comes out. And there's usually 10 times as many words that I need. And then I have to go through the process of, okay, what works, what doesn't. And it's interesting for me because sometimes the melody can come in my head first, and then I just write to the melody, and it takes over that way. Or if there's a chord progression that I just like, and that informs, you know, the way that the song is going. But I think I'm different to Chantelle, is I can write when I'm really down, and actually that's when some of my best work happens. And I've had mental health issues in the past, not so much now, but I do find that songwriting for me is very cathartic, and it allows me a space where I can let out all of these emotions and feelings. I'm really connected with the word, and I think it comes from a lot of people don't believe this, but there's a lot of to do with the chakra in your throat, which is about the truth, and the truth of for me comes out through word, and then eventually it comes out through song. So it's the same thing. But if I can't express it, then I won't be able to sing it. What's interesting for me during the songwriting process is, after the song has been written, you kind of let go of any emotion that is attached to it, and then you become the performer. And so there's the whole songwriting process, it's all about you, and it's yours, and it's your baby, and you keep it. And then there's the point where you come to the process where it's actually not yours, it was given to you, it was a gift, you were a channel, and it came through you, and now it's for everybody else, and it's your job to now perform it for other people, and for them to get out of it what they need. And so and then it's a cycle, isn't it? So then an experience happens to me, and then I use that in the songwriting process, and then it all happens all over again. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just a channel, and eventually it's for the listener. But at the beginning, it's mine, and it's my baby. And when it's ready to grow up, I have to say bye, and everyone else can have it, and then they can decide if they like it or not.
Wow, and that's really interesting that you said about how it can be like very something that's like deeply personal, or maybe it's something sad that's happened, and then once you've written it and it's out, it's almost like it can't hurt you anymore. And that you feel like you feel better about situations once you've written about them in a song, and then you become the performer, and you're like, that was a really bad time, but I'm singing about it, and I don't feel that's really amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's you know, one of the wonderful things about being a trained actor is you can just, for that moment while you're performing that song, you can decide to be that person all over again. And with what goes with that is your singing training, and so you're involved, but you're still thinking about how you're interpreting and your technique. And I think that's what is one of the most wonderful intrinsic qualities about being a singer, is we can have so much going on in here while we're actually singing, and the audience is feeling something completely different to what we are feeling. And that's why I think this job is so interesting and amazing, you know.
And I think that's a beautiful thing about being an interpreter of the classical crossover standards is, so like to talk about myself for 2 seconds, I played Fanny Bryce in Funny Girl in 2012, and I was 21. I was 21, and that's a pretty deep character to play at 21. And granted, Fanny Bryce herself was about probably that age, but like even 3 years later, I was like, oh, I could have done so much more with that character. 10 years later, oh, I could have done so much more with that character. And you come into this realization of identifying with songs. And for each person, not only do you provide your unique musical stamp on a song, you provide your unique emotional stamp on a song. So I think that's a big part of each individual singer in classical crossover music, is we're all from these different backgrounds, and You Raise Me Up or Nella Fantasia or Piaezu or The Prayer means a different thing to each one of us. And I think that's really cool.
You're so right. It could be like, you know, a standard that most people have in their set or their repertoire, but it can mean something totally different to the performer that's singing it at that time. And maybe they want the audience to feel something different when they sing it as well, and want them to feel something else. So yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it?
I'd love to keep chatting with you guys. You guys are fascinating women. So hopefully we'll do more of these. Maybe we'll pick a topic and then we'll kind of give opinions about it or something like that. But to sum up, if you guys want to tell me one fun thing maybe you've learned during this lockdown, and then any projects you have planned for after.
Something fun that I've learned. I can eat so much chocolate. It's ridiculous. Oh my goodness. I think eating full stop. I think the I don't know about you, but meals sort of punctuate the day, something to look forward to. So, you know, when you're busy and you've got other things going on in your life, you don't, you know, something you might give one meal of the day some importance, but this is like 3 meals a day and lots of chocolate and the amount of television that I can watch. I don't know if you guys have been watching more TV. But wow, and there's lots of good stuff on, which is always a bonus. I am so looking forward to when this is over and we're allowed again to singing live in front of actual people. I think it's brilliant, like the online concert that you organize, because I think it's a chance for music lovers at least to virtually get the experience, but to actually stand in front of people and sing again. Unfortunately, that seems like it's going to be one of the longest things we're going to have to wait for. I mean, we don't know that for sure, but it just seems, what I've been reading and what I've been hearing, it could be next year, which, if you'd have said that to me at the beginning of lockdown, I was a bit like, oh, you know, I've got some things booked in for, you know, the end of the year, and I thought definitely that I was going to be able to do them. But now it seems like probably not, that it is definitely going to be 2021, which is super sad, isn't it? But I'm working on a new music video, which is exciting. Heard it here first, a little exclusive. It's one of the songs from The Rhythm of Life, and I've got involved a certain animator friend of mine who's brilliant, who's worked on other videos for me. How Does It Feel and Let's Go Fly a Kite, my friend Gary. So watch this space, something interesting and something sort of fun to do while we're still rumbling on in lockdown. So that's what I've learned.
It's really interesting for me. I feel like I'm working harder now in lockdown than I did before, and well, the fun thing first, I would say, is actually also connected to food. and I've noticed that I'm really, now I have a little bit more time to prepare my meals. I'm actually a little bit more obsessive because I have to plan out how much shopping I have to do and what you know, because to go to the shop, it's a real rigmarole. You have to put a mask and gloves, and then you have to wipe everything when you come back. And so just a normal shop takes 20 times as long as it normally would. And so what I found is now I'm actually planning out my meals. I feel like I'm in my own cookery show where I've literally got all my ingredients ready, and I think that I'm kind of telling the camera, well, this is how you do this, and this is how you do this. And so, I mean, I might actually share one of them with you at some point.
I love that. You absolutely should. It could be like a spin-off YouTube channel.
Should I?
Yes.
A singer does cooking, but because I'm kind of a veggie pesky, but I'm allergic to nuts. And so I have to be quite creative with my meals. And so that is actually one of the fun things that I've learned to do, is I could probably be a cook show host kind of thing. I don't know what they call them.
Love it.
But
a TV singing chef.
Exactly.
Here are the ingredients.
You never know, Joanna, you never know what's going to happen. And with regard to work, I've got a new set of covers that I'm recording at the moment, and I'm actually working with two producers. One is Tom, who produced Lost in Love, and another one is called Ren, and he is in America actually. So there's new stuff coming out, and I've also been thinking of doing some short monologues to kind of dip my toe back into my acting past.
Ooh,
So
I love that.
you never know, but I think what's really great about this lockdown is because I'm not so influenced by the outside world, you do start thinking, oh, what would I really like to do? What will make me happy? And like going back to earlier when Joanna was saying, you know, what makes you happy and what you want to do ultimately makes everyone else happy, because everyone just wants to see you happy, you know. So it's kind of I'm just going along and following my natural instincts, should we say. But whenever anything comes out, you'll be the first to know, obviously, especially with a food video.
Yay. That sounds brilliant. How about you, Chantelle?
Okay. Well, I don't want to be the one to end the conversation on a downer, but I will admit I have been struggling through quarantine. I had a day job at a bank, and I recently quit that job because it was sucking the soul out of my life. So I am in between day jobs currently. But I also have a plus side in that my partner is moving from New York to live with me at the beginning of June.
Wow, that's going to be amazing.
I'm so excited.
I'm actually just getting my annual leave time next week, or this week now. So I'll be able to experience a little bit more of the downtime. So I'm putting together another Classical Crossover Magazine concert. So I'm excited to share that with you guys soon. So thank you guys so much for joining.
It's been lovely to chat to you ladies, massively.
Yeah,
we must do it. We must do it again. We could go on for years, couldn't we, basically?
I think this is what me and Joanna was saying before the lockdown. We were actually going to meet for a coffee, and I was saying that I would love to just sit and just talk music stuff, because it's like we don't get enough time to talk about just music stuff. So this has been the second best thing, so thank you. It's been so lovely to meet you all properly, kind of. Although it's virtual, it's just been great.
Bye, guys.
Bye.